Do personality tests really tell us who we are? Today, we're not gonna lie. Hey everybody, welcome back to a new episode of NGL. And today we want to talk about a very popular topic these days, and that's your personality test. Enneagram, MBTI, dimensional, whatever you guys are into today. And you know how we all have that one friend, right? That every single time you mention the word enneagram, their eyes light up and they suddenly come alive and they have so many things to say and they fill the entire conversation with enneagram. I have that friend and today I have invited her here. This is Faith. Hi, Faith.
Hello.
She's going to join us for our extremely exciting conversation about Enneagram today. And to balance off the conversation a little bit, right, I've also invited my other friend who's a bit of a skeptic when it comes to personality tests. So this is Bryan.
Hello.
Okay, so Bryan, you're here to balance Faith's enthusiasm today.
Yeah,
correct?
I'm here to present the alternative view, basically.
Wow, exciting discussion today. So before we hear more from them, right, today we want to talk about this whole idea of personality tests because it's such a big topic these days. So we want to find out a little bit more about what personality tests are, you know, how they help us find out more about ourselves. Are they accurate? Are they limiting? How do we use them to navigate our lives? And even whether personality tests and these kind of descriptions, right, can sometimes be a bit of an excuse for when we behave badly and, you know, we just tell people it's just the way I am. Okay. So these are things that we really want to discuss today, and I'm really excited to get into it because I know that you guys have quite different views regarding this issue. But before that, right, we have a fun activity plan. Yep. So today, right, we got Bryan, Faith and myself, we got ourselves to dress up, right, according to what we think our personality is, and we want to take some time to guess each other's personality based on our outfit. So as y'all can see, right, if you're watching this on YouTube, Bryan is wearing a very interesting outfit where he has this like Dunder Mifflin pants, but I have heard that these are your pajamas.
Yeah.
Right,
yep.
These are, he's very comfortable today. He's here in his pajamas, and Faith is wearing a beautiful patterned dress with a cream outer coat. So
with many colours.
Yeah. I'm wearing a beautiful outfit. You guys can describe me later. But okay, who shall we guess first? Maybe Bryan, since Bryan's outfit is so amazing. Right? Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna tell you what we think you're trying to say about yourself, and then you let us know whether it's correct.
Okay.
Okay, Faith, you wanna go first?
Okay, so I look at this outfit, right? Yeah. There's only one word that comes to my mind. Noir.
What?
Noir.
That's not the word I was thinking.
Because of the pajamas?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, just the whole vibe. The whole vibe.
So it's very relaxed. Very relaxed.
I think you totally gave a positive spin to the
yeah. I wasn't going that way.
Maybe I'm optimistic. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say casual
Casual,
She said noir,
okay.
but I'll say you're very relaxed as a person. Maybe you feel at home easily. That's why you come here to the studio, but you wear your pajamas.
Yeah.
So is that what you're trying to tell us?
No. No, not really.
Really?
Yeah, no.
I thought we got it.
Yeah,
Totally
I thought we
off.
got it.
No, so okay, so the reason why I chose this outfit is because I think in general I'm a very safe person. So like my top is quite plain as compared to, you know, you two very colourful and vibrant outfits. But I also have a very like quirky side to me, which is why I chose these pants. But okay, just to clarify, I don't usually wear this out. Yeah, and I don't
that's nice to know.
Yeah, I don't usually wear this out. But usually in my day-to-day outfit, right, what I would do is I'll usually have like maybe my socks lah. So my socks would be the one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. So I like to
never
have like
noticed that.
wacky socks here and there. Or if I wear a suit, I'll always wear wacky socks. Yeah.
Okay, so you are safe but wacky.
Safe but with a touch of like, maybe
Safe but a
quirkiness.
hint
Yeah,
of
a hint.
Okay, but then
quirkiness.
your
Yeah.
pants very long.
No, this
It's very like catching a lot of attention.
Yeah,
this
it's
is
like
only for,
I'm safe
for
but
today.
Yeah.
It's only for today. Yeah, it's only for today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Faith's outfit, let's guess hers. Bryan, what do you think Faith is trying to say?
Okay. This is also part of the outfit.
Oh, that's also part of the outfit.
Yeah.
Okay.
the outer coat.
Okay, I
Comes
feel
together.
like I feel like she's trying to send a message over here.
Okay,
How I would
that
interpret
message
it,
is?
right, would be that maybe on the outside she looks very plain as well because of the outer.
Take note,
wear.
you
Safe,
just called a girl plain,
But
okay?
then,
Carry on.
plain.
Maybe safe sounds better.
Okay, safe. Very conservative. But actually on the inside she's wild.
So it's like,
She's vibrant, you know, just like her inner life, very vibrant. Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
Okay, I would say something similar. I would say that her inner life is very layered
Wow.
and very detailed because look at her
Wow.
dress, right? There's so many patterns, so many different colors. Yeah, so I think as a person, maybe you're very detailed.
Yeah.
Wow.
You never show the tassels.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, your tassels.
Bryan, you're very proud that you know the word
Intricate
tassels.
details.
Yeah.
So why? Why do you choose this?
Okay, so both of you are spot on. Wow. Yeah, it's like because the outerwear is more plain and simple, so people might just think like, oh, just another person. Not that interesting, but bam! Look at this dress. It's full of character and color and detail. Look, there's no one same like circle.
So much for that.
Yeah, she's so proud of who she is. Yeah.
Correct. It's like on the outside, that's how people perceive you. But inside, there's so much going on, like your feelings, your thoughts.
You all must remember the next time you all see Faith on the street. Bam!
So what you wearing underneath the jacket?
Oh my gosh. Okay, come. Guess my outfit.
Okay, the first word that comes to mind would be unique. Because I don't see it often at all.
Okay.
And it's very unique. Yeah.
Okay, so the word that comes to my mind is right, flamboyant.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like you're trying to show
flamingo.
something about you. Yeah, like peacock.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the vibes that it gives me. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a show off.
No, you just like to showcase who you are, your
Wow.
unique self.
Thank you. I would love to think that I'm unique too.
Yeah.
Okay, I chose this because I feel like as a person I'm quite vibrant and I'm quite like bold. So I am not
True.
safe. I am not neutral most of the time. So I think I'm quite vibrant. And also I like the fact that the colours kind of just like mix into each other because I feel like as a person I'm always evolving. So I don't really like to be
Deep.
like set in stone because I like to always grow.
Wow.
So that's who I am. Very deep, huh?
Yeah, that's
One
very
outfit
deep.
can say so
Yes,
much,
yeah,
right?
yeah. No, but it's
Wow.
Actually, it's true. I agree. Yeah, you
Yeah, I'm
are
like that.
very bold. Yeah.
Thank you. Yay.
I'll
So
never wear
with
this
that, it's okay. You can always try another time. I lend you this shirt. It's quite big.
We'll see how. Okay.
So today, right, we want to find out a little bit more about your personality types and how you guys kind of navigate it and figure it out. So maybe we start with Faith. Okay, given that you explained yourself like that, right, Faith, what is your personality type and how do you view personality tests, in general?
Okay, so my personality type is ENFJ for MBTI. Okay, but recently I'm more into Enneagram. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm Enneagram type 4. Yeah, which is like, okay, how they describe this person is like that need to be unique. Yeah, and so for type 4s in general, they feel a lot. Yeah, they feel things very deeply and then they want to understand people, they want to be understood. Yeah, but
Wow.
at the same time, right, on the flip side, if it gets too much, right, they can be melancholic. Yeah, or to some extent like emo also lah.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how I describe myself, having a very rich inner life, thinking and
Like your
feeling
dress,
a lot.
Yeah, bam.
Bam.
Yeah, that's right, man. Yeah, but I think it's quite representative of who I am as a person as I read the characteristics of the Enneagram.
Okay. What about like personality tests? Like, what's your experience with that? Like,
Okay, so right, I love personality tests. Yeah, so the thing right is like any personality test that I find right,
Yeah.
I will send it to a group chat and then I'll get everyone to do it together.
Yup,
yeah,
it's
and
true.
sometimes right, there are some friends honestly right, they ignore me, but then I will tag them. I'll say like, "What's your result?" Then I will like
Just call
compile
them
it.
out lah,
Yeah, I'll call them
right?
out. And then if they don't want to do it right, then I will try to reason with them like, "Why you don't want to know yourself more?" And then like, I will just like convince them somehow to take it. Yeah.
Very passionate. Very passionate.
Yeah. Then as they write out what is their different like personality, right? Then I'll read up also. Then I'll tell them which parts I agree with them, which part I don't agree. I'll help them to understand the results.
Right.
you're
So
a
it's not
life
just
coach that impose yourself on their lives.
Yeah, so it's not just right. I let you do the test, right? Then
Yeah.
you just settle yourself. But I'm here to guide you through.
Wow.
I'm here to help you understand yourself. Understand yourself deeper.
Yeah, but Faith would give
Even if you don't want it,
personalised
I'll do it for you.
So, Faith, what's the most extreme thing you've ever done?
Yeah, okay, so when I found out about Enneagram, then my friend told me about this $20 USD test. Yeah, and I just felt like I had to do it. Yeah, it's like I didn't even think twice. Like to me, $20 is like not even expensive.
Yeah.
Because right, it's the information that is so priceless.
But got so many free tests.
No.
online.
Okay, so the fact that it's paid, right, means that there must be something that is more detailed, ma.
Yeah.
So it's true because my friend sent me her results, right. There was like positive and negative column for each type. So it'll tell you how healthy you are. Yeah,
so
for
it's
each
like
of the
a
types.
detailed like health checkup like that.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. Like really. So it helped me see like, oh, when I'm this type, right, how healthy I am. Then which is my growth points. Yeah.
Okay, so after that, do you really feel like healthier?
I mean, like how people only tells you.
True lah.
Ultimately,
It's
you
high
have to
I
work
need to
on
take
it.
the
but
steps, yeah.
Correct.
But
okay.
it will be on my mind lah sometimes.
Okay,
But
okay.
not only that, okay, because when I taste something that is so good, like wow, you understand yourself so much, right? Then you want to help everyone to experience the same thing.
Yeah.
Wow, life
So
coach.
so that's when I just share it to my friends and ask them to take the test also.
Ask
And they
or
actually
force?
did. Huh? No. Ask very
Heavily
nicely.
persuade.
Yeah, and they went on to ask their friends also. So they pass it on. I pass it to them. They were convinced. And then they went to tell their friends, and their friends also paid for it.
Oh, you
Yeah.
started a revolution.
Influencer,
Yeah.
okay.
Hey, I have to say it's true because I'm one of the friends that she asked to take the paid
Ask
test,
very
right? Then I
nicely,
said
right?
no. Then she asked me nicely 5 more times. Then I had to say no 5 more times.
And then you still didn't?
I never.
Okay.
But I type you, I give you a type.
Yeah. Then after she typecast me. Okay, Bryan, what about you? Hearing Faith's enthusiasm and passion.
Yeah.
What do you feel?
I feel like I can't beat her lah, for sure. Okay, no, but for me, I'm a ESFJ.
Uh-huh.
I'm an ESFJ. Enneagram, I'm type 9, right? As coached by Faith.
Yeah. Faith determined that
Yeah.
Bryan was a type 9.
Faith,
I guided you, I guided
yeah,
you,
correct.
I guided
Faith
you.
guided me
It
to
was a
discover.
process together.
Yeah, that I was
Yeah.
actually type 9, right? Type 9, wing 8.
Oh,
yeah.
you even know the wing.
Correct. Yeah. So type 9 wing 8. Yeah, but I'm ESFJ. I do find myself identifying with the things about type 9s and also ESFJ.
Okay.
But in general, I would say that I'm not the kind that puts a lot of value in like these tests. So I don't think that they are very definitive. Neither do I think they are very deterministic of who I am or who people are in general. Because I mean, I just can't understand how you can put a person into like, you know, one of 9 numbers or one of 16 personalities. Like it just doesn't really make sense to me lah. So
Right,
I'm the kind of guy, right, that let's say for example, Nata, you tell me that, oh, I am a ESTJ, for example. So I'll read to you, right? Like what are the different things about ESTJ?
Yeah.
For you to sort of like confirm lah, right? And then you'll be like, oh yeah, that's me. And I'm the kind of guy that I would sneak in 1 or 2 traits from another different personality.
gosh.
And then the minute you agree, right, I'll be like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, by the way, you are not ESTJ. You are actually also a little bit of this. So my point is not to invalidate the results or to say that you are, you know, these are false or what, but it's just to let you know that actually you are not just your type.
Do you think this might be why you don't like personality tests? Like you don't want to be boxed into...
That I don't like someone to jump to the conclusion without first, you know, knowing me or without first understanding more about me lah, right? Because I do think that we are a lot more than just like a few descriptions that could describe us.
Okay.
Correct?
I think I'm somewhere in between the two of you. So like personality-wise, I am an INFJ.
Yep.
And I am, according to Faith, a type 8. Then I go and read more, I'm a type 8 wing 7. Okay, so I feel like they are quite accurate actually to who I am. And actually I remember when I first did the MBTI, right? It was because like there was like my school had this like program where we did it and then they gave us the paid test results. So they paid for us to take it. And then back then, right, one of the things that I thought was so funny was that I did this when I was 15 and back then they swore to the entire level. They were like, oh my gosh, MBTI is like foolproof
At
one.
15.
Huh?
At 15 years
Yes,
old.
15. They tell the whole batch, right, for the rest of your life, your MBTI will never change because that is what
Wow.
MBTI is. It tells you the core of who you are. And so that kind of thing not so easily changed one. 4 years later, my MBTI changed lah. You know, I was a ENFP at 15. And then after that, I redid the test at like 19, right? And then I became an INFJ.
Wow.
Then I was like,
2
actually...
letters change.
Yeah, quite a bit, right? But actually the INFJ one quite accurate, the description. So I also feel like this MBTI bluffed my money. Pay for the report, then in the end, need to pay again to get another
Are you
detailed report.
shaken, Faith?
No?
Faith? No, because she believes in
Still standing
Enneagram. yeah. But so I think I do think that some of these personality tests can help you to understand yourself a bit better lah. In fact, when I read the INFJ report, I remember feeling like, wow, actually these are things that I maybe have always felt about myself but didn't really have the right words to express to people. Then I remember sending the report to some of my close friends to say, hey, read then you can know me better. And like, this is what I would like to tell you about myself, but I don't know how to say it on my own. But at the same time, I do know what you mean, Bryan, that I think that there are bits of who I am that I don't think can be fully encapsulated.
Or it's not 100%
by...
accurate. Lah,
Yeah,
right?
there are some things in the description that maybe I agree 80-90% lah, but there's that good like 10-20% that like I just feel like not really, that's not who I am, or like
Or it's a bit too simple to just like, you know, be described in that one.
Yeah.
Way, right?
But I have to say that honestly, I am quite fascinated by personality tests. So even though you say that like you can't really fit into, or you find it very hard that a person can fit into one of 9 types, right? I actually think that it's quite fascinating how they can describe these 9 types with quite a lot of accuracy,
Yeah.
I feel. And that's just, I don't know, I haven't read up much to figure out how that works, but I always thought that was quite interesting. Okay, so Faith, have you ever wondered, right? Actually, why do you like taking personality tests so much?
Yeah, so when I look at all my friends, I just feel like I'm very different.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so one aspect is like emotions. Yeah, so I can just talk to you and share about my life.
Yeah.
And if it's very deep to me, it's painful, I can talk for 1 hour and just cry. Yeah, and then, okay, no, 1 hour is not my max. Don't be surprised. It's 3 hours. Oh my God. Yeah, so I can just like talk about it and just go on sharing to you like the depth of my emotions and my feelings. Yeah, so like when I, and not just that. So even like when my friends, for example, Nata, when she shares something that is very personal to her, yeah, that is very painful, right? Then when I see that, whoa, okay, you're going through this, I will feel it with you and feel even more.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
she's not even crying, right?
Yes.
But then I'm crying on her
Yeah.
behalf.
Then I need to take tissue and tell Faith, I'm okay.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in those moments, I always wondered like, why am I like this? Yeah, because there are very few people around me who are like this. Yeah, and so I couldn't really understand myself. Yeah, and so when I found out about this Enneagram, and then they talk about type 4 being like feeling a lot and then have a tendency to be melancholic, right? That's like, whoa, that's me. Yeah, and it's a personality type. It gave explanation and like clarity as to how I behave. Yeah, to the point that once I found it, it was so life-changing. Okay, that's why the $20 paid test. That's why I shared it to all my friends.
She's so happy
Yeah,
about
I
it.
sent my results. I said, okay, see, this is my results. This is why I'm like that. I said, hey, go and find out. Yeah,
Oh my
so
gosh.
is that, how you make me feel understood.
Yeah. Actually, I really identify with that. I think that's how I felt when I first read my MBTI report. That like I think for the first time, because like as a person, I think generally maybe because I'm quite intuitive, so I get a certain feeling and I feel like I understand it as a
Yeah.
feeling, but I cannot explain to you what it is. So like I know what it is. I
Like for
know
yourself.
that I'm a certain way, but I cannot really put to words why I am this way. And even if I try to explain it, right, I just feel like that's not it, you know? Like my words don't
Yeah.
fully express what I'm trying to say. So when I read the MBTI report, right,
Yeah.
for the first time I was like, oh my goodness, this is me. It's like all the feelings that I had that I couldn't really explain. And then it just kind of like explained for me why how my inner life. It also says that I have a rich inner life. Like INFJs wow, so rich in your inner life. Then talk about how you like to like think about the world and like have a very strong sense of justice. Like you're very upset when you see social injustice, which is actually quite true of me.
Yeah,
But
it
I
is.
never knew like how to describe myself like that.
Yeah.
So actually once I read it, right, I was like, oh my gosh, this describes me so well. Then I sent it to all my friends. Then I asked them, do you think it's true of me? I think it's true of me.
Like a
So
new
please-
perspective that you want to
yeah,
share
it's
with
like,
everybody.
okay, all the things I want to say to you, I never knew how to say, but this thing has said it for me. So please read it. So like I really, really resonate with that. Like that feeling of being understood.
It is quite eye-opening and very interesting to like, you know, read things about yourself that you never knew. Like, I think we all want to know what makes us who we are.
Yeah.
I think we want to know like how we are perhaps like uniquely made to be different. Perhaps in some ways lah. Maybe not, you don't need to be like, you know, the only one person who's like that.
Only type 4.
Yeah, only the type 4 in the world. But I do feel like we do want to know ourselves as individuals lah, essentially. Yeah, amidst a sea of people, I do want to know how am I different from the rest.
Like how are you special in your own
Yeah,
identity?
exactly,
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Is that something that you personally went through?
Yeah, like, actually. I mean, as much as I say about MBTI and personality tests and all of this, like, I do see the value of it. You know, I do see that it is able to help make sense or help to put into words certain things. And I do find these things like to be true. So I do have moments when I read certain things and I'm like, wow, oh my god, this is really quite me. Or when I have someone, like someone like Faith, right, who is able to tell me or make sense of the descriptions, and I'm like, wow, not bad. Like, I really do feel quite known and understood.
But if I were to be very honest, right, I feel one of the things that made me enjoy personality tests, and this makes me sound super bad, but I remember liking to read personality tests when they tell me good things about myself. It's like
Only the strengths, not the weaknesses.
maybe like in my mind I read the weakness like not so weak. But like I okay, so right, to be very honest, one reason why I'm so happy that I'm an INFJ is because in the report, right, it says that INFJ are one of the rarest personality types in the world.
It's true.
Yeah, then I read it, like, I am special. And then I remember like when I read these kind of tests, right, and even when Faith told me that I'm a type 8, then actually when she introduced to me Enneagram and she said, you're a type 8, right, all that she said was good stuff, you know. She said, oh, because you are, she said, you're like a rock. Yeah, that's the word she used. Type 8, you're like the rock. Yeah, very like, don't know what, very stable. And then I'm like, wow, tell me more. Tell me all these good things. But I feel like, for me at least, I find that maybe it makes me feel good about myself when I read this kind of personality test, right? And just so happen that the personality profiles that I fall into, they tend to describe it in quite a pleasant way. But I can't really think like how would I really feel if I read a personality test, right? They're actually like quite jialat, you know. Like they tell you like you're overly like sensitive or like
That's my life.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Right?
you're speaking my life.
So how you feel when I mean like, okay, to be honest, right, while it helps you understand yourself, don't you feel very discouraged when you read this kind of thing?
Yes, I do. Because recently I read this article. Oh my gosh, that made me feel so discouraged. Okay, so I was like, again, like just looking through different like personalities, and then like reading Natasha one, telling her what I find about her and how I feel is true about her. Then I read mine. So there was this website that wow, it was so painful to read through, because first, right, it just gave a description of like myself, and then afterwards it talked about the areas that I need to grow in.
Only?
Yeah. Wait, no. Okay, no. First, it talk about challenges of being a type 4. Yeah, so talk about challenges first. Then afterwards, growth points. So after I read it, I was like, I felt like I didn't know why I felt so down. But when I looked at the big categories, I was like, oh, no wonder. But whereas Natasha one was like, first describing, right, then it was like strengths, and then famous people. It's like, why are the categories so different? And it was just from the same website, okay? It's from the same website. Yeah. So I was like, wow, how come like being a type 4, it sounds so difficult? And it seems like I live a harder life, that I have so many challenges. There was not even like just 3, there was like more than 5 or something.
But that's not true, right? Like, being a type 4 is not sad, right? Like, if there are any type 4s out there who listen to this.
So that's my
just
question.
upset things,
Do you
right?
think that it's true that some personality types maybe have it a bit harder
In life.
than others? Or like just generate the way you are naturally, lor?
Oh.
Do you feel so as somebody who maybe got a quite negative review on their website?
I feel so. Yeah, to some extent, that was a question that actually I had in my mind a lot. Like when I shared with you just now about how I compare to my friends and how we are different, right? A thought that I always have is, why do I feel like when the same situation happens to both of us, let's say Bryan and I, we quarrel,
Yeah.
and then we have tension in our friendship, then he seems fine, like he can go about his life. But then I'm so affected, like I can't even like do my work properly.
Yeah.
Then I'll just keep thinking about it. Yeah, and then before I go to sleep, I think about it. Throughout my day, I think about it. So in a sense, the emotions does weigh a lot heavier. Yeah. Whereas when I look at someone else, they seem fine. Yeah. So
But you wouldn't know, right? You wouldn't know what's actually going on in the person's mind, or how the person is.
that's true. Yeah, that was something that I thought about before also. Yeah, because I know that I'm someone who, in a sense, more expressive, or it shows on my face, but it doesn't mean that someone else is actually feeling very deeply about it. Yeah, but sometimes when I just compare on the surface, or seeing how both of us react in situations, for example, for me, I feel like immobilized. Like, I can't even go about my normal day. But whereas everyone else, it seems like it's okay for them. Then in these moments, it just feels like, oh, it seems to be more difficult for me. Yeah, because these things weigh so heavy on my heart. Yeah, and I can't seem to think my way out in that sense.
Like you feel more trapped by your
Yeah.
emotions than another person seems to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess as you think about this whole personality, to me it's still quite interesting how you are very into reading these personality tests, even though sometimes they don't tell you very good things about yourself. Yeah, so like, I mean, won't it make you feel even more like limited and trapped when you keep reading these things about yourself? Or like, in what way does it make you feel like, hey, actually then I'm free to be myself, you know?
Right. Okay, so generally for one, I think the article I read wasn't the best because it painted just a one-sided picture, right?
Yeah.
But then I did read articles on other websites. they talk about both the good and the bad. So like just now what I told you, the paid test is like the good and bad column, and then they'll show you the different like good and bad for each type. So I think when I read about a more balanced view, it helps me, because it helps me see that, okay, for example, emotions. Just now I shared the negative part of it. But at the same time, being able to feel deeply, you're able to empathize with someone, which actually quite a lot of my friends have told me before, like in a conversation, they do feel heard and understood by me, even if I may not go through the same circumstance, because I'm able to feel with them. So in that sense, when I see things more holistically, both the good and bad of it, it shows me that, okay, I don't have to just be trapped. So recently, actually, I met up with a friend. And then it was actually a very good convo. Like, I enjoyed it a lot. And then we talked for very long. We laughed a lot also. But towards the end of the day, she just made this casual remark where she said, "Oh, I had a lot of fun today. But I thought that it was going to be something heavy." So in that moment, it made me think, is this how people view me? And actually, even though I can, in a sense, bring people fun, joy, laughter, but will they accept me?
Like not as willing to take the heavy moments.
So it made me wonder if, because I guess to me, right, to be accepted, to be loved is that, in a sense, the person can take it, can take all of me. Be it all my emotions, my thoughts, the highs, the lows. So not just like one part of me, and then accepting this and rejecting the rest, but it's me as a whole also. So because that's how I see acceptance and love to be. So when she made that remark that, oh, there's this part of me that maybe it doesn't sit as well with her, or maybe she doesn't really enjoy that much, then it made me wonder that, okay, am I still accepted and loved in the same way?
And that makes you feel like a bit insecure, does it?
So in that moment, even though we are super close friends, and I do trust like in her heart for me, but then in that moment it made me like question, whether I'm accepted and feeling insecure. Although like as I was going back home, I think something that I reflected was how I can't expect someone like a human to take all of me, because she has her own burdens to carry. She's her own person as well. And so this is not something that I feel I can expect of her, even if I were to share all my heavy thoughts that day. And maybe if she were to really hear of these things out, I doubt that she will still be able to understand me fully. But I think for me, like something that I really take comfort in is knowing that I have a God, who really knows me. That even things that I find it difficult to express in words, or even sometimes not knowing how I feel, certain emotion, because it goes so deep. Sometimes it's just a jumble, right?
And you cannot really say it. Also,
I don't really know how to pinpoint and share with people sometimes because it goes so deep. But I know that, okay, I have a God who understands. I don't even need to articulate it, but He already knows it. And He accepts me and loves me. And I think that's where I find my comfort. Not placing like crushing expectations on my friends and expecting them to know everything about me, take everything of me as if, you know, in some sense they are my dumping ground. Like I don't want to see my friends that way also. But then I find security in knowing that I'm known, accepted and loved by God.
I think it's interesting that Faith shared that, because like I think as you were sharing also, I was reminded of how I also feel that insecurity sometimes when it comes to, you know, knowing my personality, but it stems from maybe a different place. So for Faith, I mean, like you were saying that you want to know, right, and it gives you that clarity. But for me, actually, it was more of that, the opposite actually, when I felt that I didn't know who I was. So I remember there was this incident, right, when I was about 19 years old. So what happened was that one of my friends actually made this comment, right? And he was going around to, you know, like talk about, I mean, we were just talking about, you know, ourselves and things like that. And then he actually made a comment about me. And he said that, I think Bryan is like a chameleon. You know, so he described each friend, you know, this person is like this, is like that, butterfly, whatever. But for Bryan, I think he's a chameleon. And then I think in that moment, right, I don't think he didn't mean it in a bad way, right? And I clarified with him afterwards also that, okay, I think he meant it in a way that he wanted to say that I'm very adaptable, I'm very easygoing, I can connect to many different kinds of people, and he sees that as a strength. But actually, even after he clarified it, it still stuck with me, because, and I think I took a certain offense, right, at the word chameleon, because that word felt, I think for one,
negative.
It felt very negative, because it felt that I had no identity, right? I just put on and I just take on the form of whatever is the environment around me.
Yeah.
But I think it also hit me because I do resonate with that.
Like you think there's some
Wow.
truth.
Yeah, and in that moment, I think he did hit something quite close to my
Okay,
heart, right? When he
okay.
said that I'm a chameleon. And when I
Yep.
think about it, I'm like, actually it's true. Like, and I had this thought also that actually if I give every single person around me like a paper to describe who I am, I think they would say different things about me. And maybe to some of my people, like for example, in let's say the people that I lead, I think they will see me as maybe more dominant, more domineering. But I think y'all would know I'm not the most domineering when it comes to like with my friends. You know that I'm not the kind that will like have to. I always have to put my foot down and
Very
say,
chill lah.
yeah, very chill, very sweeping
Yeah.
one.
Very
It's like, okay, not noir, right? But
Casual.
I'm very easygoing. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
You
I don't
are,
have a
yeah.
firm like opinion about like what to eat or things like that.
Right. Okay.
So I'm always very okay to like go with the flow. But maybe for the people that I lead,
When you have a
or the people that
responsibility over them.
or people that I work with, perhaps they would see me as perhaps more opinionated, have a certain thing that I will convey.
Yeah.
And I think in that whole process, and in that whole phase of my life, I did feel quite shaken. Yeah, I felt quite destabilized also because I felt like it's true that I put on different sort of like masks to different people and in different settings, but underneath those masks, who am I and what am I? And I can't just find that answer from what people say, because they all see
say
different
different things.
Yeah, they all see different masks, and it's not that they are wrong because they are also a part of me.
Yeah.
But actually, underneath it, then who am I? Yeah. So then I think I found myself, feeling that tension and not being able to reconcile like what they describe of me with who I am. Yeah. So that was a season of my life where I did feel very insecure over the lack of clarity and then I feel like that's something that even personality tests can't seem to give. Because even as I do the personality test, right, I can't sometimes
you
I
don't know which one to choose.
yeah, no, because yeah, exactly, because I feel like I resonate with a little bit of each, right? So or let's say that they give me like 4 options, like choose the one that best describe you. But I will feel like actually I can eliminate maybe one. But I do agree with the rest of the 3.
Well, this is very interesting because it's very different from
How you do it?
Yeah, I'm very absolute. I always strongly disagree or strongly
Yeah, okay, so that's the
agree.
thing. I actually don't put those options like usually. I will usually put like
Wow.
agree or disagree. And then only if I really, really feel something or like the statement is really me, I'll be like, wow, actually this is really me. I'll put
I cannot
strongly
decide.
agree.
Strongly agree.
No, it will be that I cannot decide. That will be like I'll ask my friend or ask myself, do what? Actually I cannot decide. Then, okay, I guess I cannot decide. Okay agree lah, you know. Don't want
not
to
even
make
strongly
it, no, like don't need to
Wow.
be too okay lah,
Wow, we're
agree.
very different. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. But
Yeah,
yeah, I imagine that moment is quite like, if you really sit down and think about it, it's like, oh my gosh, do I not
Yeah.
know myself?
Yeah, so I think it was actually this thought that made me very insecure and made me feel that sense of like lack of identity, perhaps. Yeah, and I think actually then it took me a while, but I think slowly as I made sense of it, I think I come to a place where I realized that even though it's true that I am a chameleon, right? To different people, I'm very adaptable. I'm not always a certain type.
You don't
And-
always present yourself in the same way.
and I've come to see the beauty of it and the strength of that, right? That I'm easily adaptable. I can maneuver and navigate through different scenarios and environments. But I think more fundamentally, I also came to a place where I realized that actually these descriptions that people may give don't define who I am. And actually, regardless of the setting, regardless of the person that I'm talking to, there are certain things that I hold very dear in my heart. Certain values, certain beliefs that I cherish lah. So for example, like I think regardless of the setting, I do really, really want to love people. You know, people are important to me. Relationships matter to me. I do want to love them in the way that I would know how. And also like I think I also carry that openness to any conversation. So whether is it like correction, whether is it something that people say, I'll keep it and I'll take it to heart and I won't just like dismiss it. Because I do want to put some weight to whatever that you say, even in passing. And so I think I come to realize that these are some things that I hold in my heart and in my core that actually define me, and it's not about the descriptions that people may give.
Like these are more consistent things about you
Yeah.
that I guess expresses itself differently according to who you're with lah.
Correct.
Yeah. And I really agree with that because I actually don't think that it's a bad thing lah necessarily that we are different in different settings, because I think there is also sometimes some wisdom in that. Like obviously I'm not going to talk to my manager and supervisor the same way that I talk to my friends like, hey bro, today want 一板面 that kind of thing, right? Like,
Or it won't be
I'm
like
not
so
gonna do that.
assertive or
Yeah, I
like
wouldn't lah. And I
that
think
kind,
that's
yeah.
just knowing how to, maybe in a sense knowing your place in certain social situations, and just because that's how you behave, I don't think it's always who you are. And so I think who you are is like what you said lah, a lot more about what you hold in your heart as your values, things that matter
Yeah.
to you. And one of the things that I do appreciate also is the fact that actually when it comes to the things that we value and the things that matter to us, right, we can always be constantly refining it and growing.
Yeah.
So even if let's say maybe I naturally tend towards a certain way in my personality, right, actually as I continuously refine what matters to me as a person, this begins to take more weight than my personality itself. I may be, like for example, right, as a person, actually I really am quite introverted lah. Like I like a lot of me time, and I need that time in fact to really
Yeah.
recharge. But if in my heart, like to me as a person, I value making people feel comfortable around me, even if I am very tired. If I'm sitting next to you on the MRT on the way home, right, actually I would make an effort
Yeah.
to talk to you, just because to me it is more important that you feel comfortable around
Yeah.
me than like I'm an introvert and I just need to keep quiet, you know? So I think there's room for us to continuously be growing and refining our values such that our personality doesn't just become the main thing that guides our
yeah.
actions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. lor.
Yeah, actually, I really agree. Going back to how I share about my emotions, right? I think over the years, as I start to look back on how I was before, I saw how destructive actually my emotions can be. Yeah, so especially when I feel hurt by people, I see when it's not being controlled, how I can spiral into
Right.
making others feel the same way or even worse.
Yeah.
In a sense, like even taking revenge. Yeah, so I can remember how when I was in lower sec, whenever someone stepped on my toes, I would like go on Facebook. Okay, Facebook was like
Yeah.
the in thing last time.
Yeah.
And so Facebook and Twitter, then I will start like indirect wars. Yeah, so like
Wow.
indirect, like say I'm unhappy about this person, then the person will know, because I will be indirect, but then I try to let the person know that it's you
Yeah.
also. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you write? This so and so almost stepped on my toes. What you write? Say how to indirect.
Okay, honestly, right, I forgot like the details, but I remember, right, I had
So you
a
want to
way.
take revenge?
No, I had a way of like not putting the person's name out there, but then
everybody knows.
like kind of like describing like the outline of it. So everyone knows like, okay, is this person? But then I'm not so obvious about it. But then the person will know also, so the person will fight back. Yeah, and then I saw like how when I was really emotional, how my emotions just took over, and I did things that actually really left people feeling really hurt. Yeah, and I think that's something that, as I look back, I do regret. Yeah, and now it may not look so extreme. I don't go around bullying people and then like doing indirect wars
Now must
online.
post those Insta story, then the word small at the bottom.
No, but it's so small they cannot see. Yeah, so I think going back to like how I am now, like I see how even sometimes, let's say when I'm unhappy with someone, I think it's easy to let it show on my face because I'm more expressive, right? But I know that can make the person feel uncomfortable, or making it feel like, oh, it's difficult to enter my zone, difficult to talk to me. Yeah, and I think that's something that I don't want to make people feel. Yeah, over time, when I look back, I realized that it is very unloving of me to do so, and I think I hurt a lot more people in the process because I was hurt. Yeah, and I think what helped me to actually grow out of this, like what you talk about character, right? Like choosing to be more than my personality. Because I think based on my personality, I feel I have a tendency to just incline to lashing out my emotions at people and then just use it as an excuse like, okay, I'm emotional, I can't control it. Then too bad, you have to live with it. Yeah, but I think seeing how I've hurt people, I don't want to do that anymore. Yeah, and I think something that I found out even about this whole Enneagram thing about having deep emotions is that there's beauty in it as well. Yeah, that in feeling deeply about something, I can express my love for someone. Yeah, to stand with you in your shoes, to empathize with you, to show that kind of love to you, to express it to you. Yeah, and I see the beauty of emotions. Yeah, that makes me want to use it for good. Yeah, rather than for bad. Yeah, so I see how when I choose not to let myself be defined by my personality, like I can really be so much more. And instead of hurting people, like I can use it to actually build people up. Yeah, and to actually love them in the process. And that makes me embrace this side of me as well. It's no longer something that I feel ashamed of. Yeah. So even recently when a friend made that remark to me, even though I felt something in that moment, I wasn't shaken. Because I know that, okay, like this is a part of me that can be celebrated as well. Yeah, as I see how, it can be used to relate to people.
I really love that you say that, because I think it's helpful that we don't label some stuff in our personality just as like completely good or completely bad. But I think we are able to see how there can be a healthy way to express who we naturally are. So like, actually I really resonate with what you said. So personally for me, right, I think maybe when you talk about being very emotional, there are perhaps more obvious signs that it's bad, right? And perhaps it's easier for people to label it as a negative personality trait. I think for myself, actually, one of the things that I've been trying to do, right, is that because as a person, I am quite self-sufficient. And I think self-sufficiency is not always labeled as a negative thing. In fact, sometimes like it is celebrated as strength because you are maybe you're very independent. You're very independent, you're strong. And I know that in my personality, I'm a bit more like that. I mean, if you want to read the Enneagram type 8, that's what it is, right? Yeah, like just like kind of like an island on your own and you're perfectly fine. But I think over the years of being like that, I have also come to realize that while it might be a more celebrated trait by people in general, it's not all good also. Because like in being completely self-sufficient and independent, right, many times I think I deny the people around me the ability to really know me more and support me. And I also deny myself the ability to have that kind of really deep, intimate connection with people around me. And the downside of that is actually sometimes you really can feel lonely while you really want to, while you are in a sense more able to stand on your own, right, and not have to really lean on others for support. I don't really feel a very strong need, honestly, to like tell people my problems or to really like have to meet a friend and tell them that like I'm really struggling. I'm perfectly fine actually just dealing with it on my own. But I think there were a few times where I reminded myself that even if I don't need it, it's something that I would like to allow my friends around me to do for me, because I value their input in my life, and also I want to signal to them that I lean on them for the point. You know, I just value your friendship, and I would like to give you that chance to sounds a bit weird lah, but you know, like to give you that chance to show me that you support me, so that I also in turn show you that wow, I value your support in my life. And so that's something that I think I've been actively trying to do a bit more. Like when I have some thoughts about how maybe I'm a bit tired with like work recently, or I'm a bit stressed about some of these things, maybe I'm kind of troubled about some things in my life. Actually, even though I don't naturally need to, I would kind of take out my phone and text a few friends to let them know, hey, this is something that I'm going through right now, and don't worry, I'm okay. But also like feel free to ask me more questions, or actually sometimes I even explicitly tell them, please hang out with me, because like I think recently I've been feeling quite tired and stuff like that lah. And I think after doing that, I start to experience the joy of not just living in my personality, you know, like choosing to live according to what I value. If I value relationships, if I value that sense of connectedness with my friends, if I value vulnerability as a person, you know, then actually I choose to live according to that rather than my personality. And I enjoy that I have a choice in it, you know, because I think sometimes when we always talk about how, oh, it's just my personality, or I'm just like that, I feel it can be quite limiting. Like if you want to use it as an excuse, then it's a great excuse lah, right? Because it just means I don't have to change, and right? Like I don't have to change, and in a sense, like you don't have the right to tell me how to live, because that is how I am. But I think also, if you really think about what that means, right, it's so limiting and it's so trapping, because it's just like you really have no choice. You're just if you're emotional too bad, or you're emotional for the rest of your life, and things like that. And I enjoy the fact that we can have an active choice to live beyond how we naturally are.
Yeah, I feel like that's also that's also true for the other people around you as well. That if you were to live in your personality, or if you were to just keep on saying that it's just me, that's who I am, take it or leave it, then actually it's also not very good.
Right?
Yeah, for the other person. Which I do agree, and I also find myself resonating with that, because I think I have people in my life who use that comment as well. You know, like I think in terms of like my family as well. Like sometimes my parents would lash out or be angry, or they're naturally a lot more like explosive, right? As an Asian parent. And sometimes then my relative would tell me also, like, just That's just how, you know, your dad is. That's just how he is, and therefore, you know, like, you know his heart. But I think actually, in those moments, like, it doesn't sit right with me, and it doesn't feel nice as well, because while it makes sense, it still doesn't show me the fact that, you know, you love me and things like that. But rather, I do feel that when my parents or when the people around me choose to act in a way that is different from their personality, it in fact makes me feel a lot more connected with you, because I know that this is what you believe in. I feel more accepted, I feel more loved by the fact that you chose to do it, even though maybe afterwards I know that, oh, it's not in your personality, that, no, actually you're quite tired and you're an introvert, you need a space. But I remember how, you know, at the MRT ride home, you were very intentional to ask about my life, and I needed that at the moment. And I think that actually makes me feel a lot more connected with you, and a lot more able to identify with who you are. Yeah, and I do appreciate that. Yeah, so I really, really do resonate with the whole idea that it's a choice. And I do think as well that it is something very freeing as well. Even for me, you know, like, as someone who perhaps have different faces or different sides to show to different people, actually, I can choose to hold on to the things that I really believe in and respond in a certain way. And I think that is very freeing.
Yeah, I really like the point that you just made. Because in a sense, sometimes we just want to share our personality so other people can love us. Right? That's why we want to be known, accepted,
Just be loved and accepted.
Yeah. But then what you're saying here is that actually, by you knowing the other person's personality or the person sharing to you, actually I'm an introverted. I'm an introvert. But yet I still, you know, choose to connect with you. That actually makes the person feel loved. Yeah. So I see how even understanding someone's like personality, and actually beyond that, seeing their character, how it can make someone feel loved.
Yeah. Wow, I really, really love our conversation today. I feel like we covered so many things. We got to know both of you and like some of your, I guess, deeper reflections on like identity, on things like love and acceptance. And I do feel like that brings a lot of texture to this conversation about personality. And I guess at the end of the day, where we seem to land is that personality is interesting in helping us to, these personality tests, they do help us to know ourselves better, perhaps put to words certain feelings that we were not able to articulate before, but at the same time, actually, it's not limiting. And what frees us is the fact that actually we really do have an active choice to choose who we want to be based on what we value in life, and there's always room to choose beyond our natural tendencies. So Bryan, after this, right, are you going to do more personality tests so that you can find out more?
I would do, but only with Faith by my side to teach me how to make sense of the questions and to interpret my results.
You need me to help you choose the answer?
I mean, I'll need your
You
help
choose the
to-
answer, then I guide him.
So after
I need your
this,
help
right?
for like confirmation about the
Okay,
choices.
after the episode, then we do your Enneagram detailed test. Faith will pay the
The
$20 for you.
To see my healthy and unhealthy levels, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So, alright.
It's alright. I mean, I'm interested to find out more about myself as well.
Very open-minded. At the start of the episode, you don't want to know about personality. But with that, right, we've come to the end of our episode for today. We hope that you guys really enjoyed this discussion on personality. And if you've got any thoughts to chime in on this whole discussion about personality tests and personality being freeing, limiting, whatever it is, right, feel free to leave us a comment in our comment box below. So until next time, if you like our content, you can like this, you can share it with friends who would enjoy it as well, and subscribe to our channel. And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at ngl.people, and find our episodes on YouTube, Spotcast, and Apple Podcasts. We also have a Telegram channel that you can join to join in on our discussions on a week-to-week basis and catch more updates about upcoming episodes as well. So until next time, we'll see you. Bye!
Bye-bye.